Very good evening to all of you and welcome back to the second session on decision making, the last lab session of decision making. In the last session I have covered the issues which are ethics related, morals related questions or sets based on that. And today I'm going to take up decision making questions on business strategy and policy making kind of questions. So here we are not talking about morals or ethics anymore, probably slightly would be required, but the most important part here is to look at business decisions, is to look at how will you respond where it is going to be a business call, it is going to be a policy decision. So that's the kind of scenario we're going to look at today in about 4 to 5 sets that I have with me, right? So I hope you guys are all ready and I hope you love these sessions. Before I move on, guys, once again, please give me a like for this session so that we know that you guys are loving these sessions, so that we can come back to you with more and more, right? Well, I have 100 questions to XAT sessions will happen for decision making section. Yes, Sankirtana, I think I'll be taking that tomorrow. And I have a lot of my regular students, very good. Aryan, Yashasvi, Jayasuman, Guru Prasad, Saurav Agarwal, very good, and a good evening once again to all of you. So let's start off, my friends. There's nothing much. I have already discussed the theory. So for those of you who are joining here for the first time, I've already discussed the theory behind decision making, the section analysis in my previous video. So please do watch my previous videos later on if you have not attended the previous session of mine. Right now we are going to get straight away into the session, straight away with the first set coming your way, right? So let's move on. Decision making set number 1. Please read this information. I'm going to move a little bit to the side so that you can read this information clearly. Caselet questions, Shadia Siroha. Caselet, where you're talking about calculation based questions, are not going to come anymore. At least for the last 2 to 3 years, they have not appeared in XAT. So it is not really required for you to, these are caselets only anyway, but not the calculation based caselets that you might be asking. Okay, so please go through this. I'll give you about 30 seconds to read this. Alright, moving on. This is done, I believe. Here is further information, another 30 seconds. So Deepto, the possibility of calculation based, I will not say it is 0 because they have asked earlier, but I will say it is less than 5% chance. Less than 5%. Jasuman, I will go back. I will go back. Just wait for a few seconds. I'll go back. I'll go back to the previous slide. Swati, risk averse and risk seeking questions are more subjective, not objective. So they will not ask you to calculate too much. Little bit of calculation might be required, but not heavy calculation. You know, there was once a question on puri making. If I remember, they were, it was an operation based question where I had 3 stoves. If I want to make a puri, it will take me 5 minutes. A roti will take me 2 minutes. And you have to do a lot of number crunching in terms of what is the best possible combination to give you the best possible profit. Those kind of questions, I don't expect them anymore. Okay. Okay. This particular information, giving it to you once again. Alright, moving on. So this is the first question, guys. Here is the question. Give me an answer in 90 seconds. Think properly. 90 seconds is your time and your time starts now. Sankirtana, I have a lot of arranging type of questions. Don't worry, we will do that. Also, it's a warning from my side. Normally, I will not. In fact, if I am a student, I'm going for the exam, writing the decision making. I will usually not attempt the ascending descending order questions because I end up making mistakes. But having said that, it does not mean that we should not prepare at all. So I will also talk about how to analyze and look at the ascending and descending order. Right, Sankirtana? Okay, so that's about 90 seconds. So let's take a look at it. The following facts were observed by an analytics team hired by the government to study the extent situation. There was a fold-4 increase in the number of researchers leaving the organization in 2014. Guys, researchers leaving the organization could be for any reason. It will not necessarily be for the incentive reduction. Right? And anyway, they were writing one article, right? They were anyway writing one article, mandatory. So it was not something great. So they were basically more or less, the government is telling them, don't write any articles indirectly. So they would have gone back to the earlier way in which things were happening. A researcher died while on duty again. For what reason? It is not anywhere related to the problem at all. Okay? The quality of articles published declined substantially. The quality of articles, okay, this could be a problem. If the purpose of the institute is to give out or come out with quality research and that is turning out to be an issue, then this may be considered. It could be a potential answer. The average number of people accessing the articles decreased by 2%. 2% is not a great number. It's not at all a great number to worry that much about, and not something on which a decision can be taken immediately. So I will rule out 1, 2 and 4, therefore only 3 remains. Option C. Easy questions to start your day with, right? Not very difficult. Let's move on to the next question. That's done. Let's move on to the next question. 90 seconds, your time starts now. Satyansh, the only way you can get the official answer key is through what XAT released. XAT releases a response sheet and they will release the official answer key. So if anybody would have followed it last year, they would have had it, and we have it on BYJU'S Exam Prep also. So you can go and get the answers from BYJU'S Exam Prep because what we have given are the official answer keys. So a combination of answers this time, B, C, E. Let's see what happens. So the director still wanted to persuade the government to review its stand. He had framed the following arguments. Most famous researchers in the world also are the highest paid. Guys, remember, are you famous because you are highly paid, or you are highly paid because you are famous? Which is the first reason? So just because people who are famous are getting paid highly, or highly paid people are famous, does not mean that you have to pay everybody. So that is not a very convincing argument. So one is ruled out. So if one is gone, so straight away wherever there is one, unlikely, sorry. So you are supposed to look at which options will not convince them. So one should be 1 should be a part of your answer. So 2 and C are gone because 1 will not convince. So they're asking what options will not convince. So 1 should be as an answer because 1 will not convince. So 2 and 3 are gone. C and so B and C are gone. Now let's look at 2. American Institute of Research gives extra benefits to its scientists. So we are in India, that is America. Why should I compare and say that look, they are giving extra money? It could be many other reasons. I am giving better perks, other perks compared to what American Institute gives. Probably they're getting paid less there. I don't know. So this information is not given. When something is not given, you cannot take, even if you know for sure that currently Indian researchers are paid less and American researchers are paid more. If you know this information, even then you cannot bring that into the context here, simply because as far as the question is concerned, we don't have information with respect to American salaries and Indian salaries. So that is ruled out. So therefore 2 will also not convince. So 2 should be a part of your answer. So wherever 2 is not there, that is gone. So D is gone. Next, this year's highest paid researcher has won the Nobel Prize last year. Again, one person has won a Nobel Prize, which means a lot of high paid researchers are not won any prize. So while I can say that the highest paid researcher won a Nobel Prize, I can say the second highest, third highest, fourth highest, the remaining of them did not win anything. So it's also not going to be convincing enough. So 3 should also be in your answer. Therefore you will say option E is correct. And that will be the correct answer over here. Is this clear? Let's move on to the third question. Once again, 90 seconds. Time starts now. Sudipta, what do you want once more? I can't explain the entire thing once more. Unfortunately, you'll have to rewind and see because this is a recorded session. You will get it. But if there's anything specific you did not understand, I can explain that. Alright, I'm getting few answers, guys. So let's see what the correct answer is. The question says the director wanted to promote good decision making at Indian Institute of Research. A few trusted colleagues offered the following suggestions. What are the suggestions? Auditors need not be allowed to object to extra benefits scheme, right? So then auditors need not pinpoint sudden increase in expenditure, and auditors need not be consulted before taking any policy level decisions. Which of the following combination of options should the director agree with the most? Now look at it. These two, I don't need both of them because auditors need not be allowed to object to extra benefits scheme. So if that this is extra benefits scheme, I am particularly worried about extra benefits scheme for the research, and I want this policy to to be rescinded by the government. So if I say the first point is taken care of, it partially helps me. So 1 should be a part of my answer. So wherever there is no 1, please take it out. Okay. Now the second one, auditors need not pinpoint sudden increase in expenditure. Why do I say blanket any expenditure? I am worried about a particular expenditure, but here you are saying no expenditure should be pinpointed. That is not correct because an auditor's job is to pinpoint. I can't say that please no expenditure, if it is happening I can do whatever I want, please don't point it out. That is not correct. So 2 should not be there in your answer. So wherever there is 2, that is gone. So this is gone and this is gone. Therefore you will get D. Okay, straight away you'll get D. So if you notice, we didn't even see whether 3 is correct or not. We just looked at certain things and we eliminated the options. Clear? Now, before I move on to the next set, friends, I need like on this video. Please give me a like so that I can understand that you guys are loving this video. Let me move on to the next set. I'll give you 10 seconds. Please hit a like on the particular video. Moving on to the next set. Thank you, Mohit. Alright, so that's option D done. Okay, next set, I'll give you 60 seconds to read. You guys have to be a bit fast in reading. Okay, 60 seconds. Nachiket, you have seen this set before, then try to give the correct answer. Let's see how much of it do you remember. Okay, I'm blocking the screen, so I'll just move. This is actually a real life scenario. This happened. This happened in US some time back. I remember reading this probably a year or 2 years back. This is actually a scenario which they converted into a case study and they've given you as decision making. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, this is 30 seconds. This is a small portion of information, not much. Okay, right, this is the first question. Give me an answer to this. Very good, a simple answer. Straight away the answer is D. Why? Because a pastor did not flout the norm of restaurant. He just wrote something on a piece of paper, and even if he did flout, it is not something which is published, he's publishing everywhere. He just wrote something on a piece of paper and gave it. It was between 1 or 2 people. So he is not really at fault. It is just his opinion. Right? And again, remember, he is not saying he will not pay a particular tax which is mandatory. This is not mandatory. This is service charge which may or may not be paid. It's a customer's choice. Right? So he did not do anything wrong. The waitress for violating customer privacy, yes, this is a problem. I'm not saying it is a problem, but is that big enough as a problem? This may be an answer. The management for not taking action against the pastor, this is definitely, anyway, pastor did not do anything wrong, so option C is ruled out. The management for giving out disproportionate punishment to waitress. So here the statement says that yes, the waitress was at fault, but the management has given out a punishment which is not in line with her mistake. So this also could be a potential answer. And the management for removing negative comments, this is not the main reason. Already this problem has escalated by there. So the main reason between these two, I would say the management is a bigger issue, because yes, what she did is wrong, there's no doubt. But the bigger problem became when the management responded in the way that they responded, because of which they started getting 10,000 negative comments and so on and so forth. So definitely the answer is option D. Okay, let's move on to the next question. 60 seconds, give me an answer to this. Okay, it's a bit lengthy, I'll give you 90 seconds, okay, no probs. 90 seconds, try it out. Very good, guys. So the correct answer here, E, is straight away ruled out. The problem is not about hiring others. The problem is about the person who's been fired. That is the problem. So E does not address your concern at all. Unconditionally, see, never do anything unconditionally. This is again, in decision making, anything which is extreme should be rejected. So you don't say unconditionally. There is a problem. We know she did something wrong. You can't say that it's all my mistake. So A is also gone. Now if you look at C and D, they are both very similar, but in both the options, you as a restaurant is not taking part of the blame because you are also wrong. So if you establish the fact that you are wrong and the waitress, both of you are wrong, both of you should come out with an apology. Therefore B is correct, C and D are also wrong. So that's your answer, B. Third question in this set. Okay, that's done. Set number 3, guys, read it. I'll give you 90 seconds to read. All right. So let's move on to the next slide. I'll give you another 10 seconds, guys. All right. Here's a question. 1 minute, give me the answer. Very good. The correct answer here is C. The moment you read, you'll get it. This is not a difficult question at all. C is the correct answer because scrutinize the relevant documents, which means you are confidently saying that, look, we did not do anything wrong. There are documents which support our claim that everything is fine. You are free to look at it. That is the best way to counter an argument or counter an allegation. Saying that, look, we have all the necessary documents, anybody is free to look at it. The moment you say that, people, whether they read the document or not is different, but they will have trust because they believe that you are ready to show everything because there is nothing that you want to hide. That is the best way to answer this question. What if they are wrong? Yashasvi, scrutinize the when will you say this statement? When will you say this statement? You are going to say this statement only if you know you are right. Otherwise, you will not say this statement. So given this, it is implied that you are saying that the documents will reveal only the positive side of you. There's nothing negative. That's the meaning. That's the way you want to understand this. Okay? HR 31. Yes, I will take a look at that particular question. Okay, I will do that. Right, next question. Okay, let me also explain to you why A is wrong. Fire Bhushan. Now remember, it is just an allegation by somebody who lost their contract. Because somebody lost the contract, they are making a statement. So based on that statement, you cannot fire anybody. That is the reason why A is wrong. Okay, why not B? I'm going there. Okay, A. Issue a press statement that a committee has been formed to look into the matter. Nothing wrong about this. This is a decent option. Keep it aside. Anyway, this is also a decent option. Keep it aside. Cancel the remaining order and call for a fresh tender. Never do this because it is an allegation. You cannot fire, cancel things based on an allegation without any proof. So anything extreme, rejected. Do nothing as Bhushan as the head of procurement has a right to decide on the supplier. Again, not doing anything is not the right option when there is an allegation. So something has to be done. What is that something? This is also gone. So now between these two, you decide and tell me which one looks better. Both of them are basically making a press statement. One, you are saying we will look into the matter. Second, says that it has increased and that anyone is welcome to. So basically between B and C, which looks more positive? Which looks more positive? That is the reason why B is eliminated, not because it is wrong. C is a better option than B, that's all. Okay, it's like RC. When you come across RCs, you will see that there are 2-3 options which are correct, but then the RC says which of the following best describes. So of the given options, you will pick the best option. Okay. Yes, Smriti, Shrikant, it is a bribe allegation. Okay, so C is correct, and that is the reason B is wrong. Bribe is an allegation, but bribe need not be required at all if the quality is anyway higher there. Why would you give a bribe unnecessarily? I will give a bribe if I know that I'm not going to get qualified. That's normally the assumption, right? If I'm on time or if I'm going as per the signal, will I generally go to a policeman and say take bribe? No. When will I do that? When I'm at fault. So that is the reason why I can say that bribe, if I say that the quality of the new supplier is better, it is more or less an indication that that guy did not give me any bribe. Okay? So that's your answer. Moving on to the next question. Take a look at this. 1 minute, please give me an answer. Again, not a very difficult question, straightforward answer. The answer is E. Do nothing. See, when there is something happening, usually do nothing is not the correct answer. Okay. Next, force Bhushan to resign. Again, allegations. You don't force people to resign on allegations. Communicate to all shareholders that these kind of practices are very common. How can you say that these kind of practices are common? You are basically accepting nepotism, which is incorrect in the business line. So that is gone. Sack all those employees. Again, because there is a rumor, you can't sack people. Again, extreme step, gone. So you will be left with only option E, and option E is more inclusive. You are calling people together as a family, you are discussing things to them. It's quite open. You have problems, you discuss. You will talk to them saying that, look, this does not happen like this. Don't worry, this is not the reason why he's been exonerated. It's nothing to do with nepotism. You're going to convince them. So that is, that's basically the answer to this. Right, let's move on. Set number 4. The question is, the information is quite simple here. 30 seconds. Let's move on to the next slide in 30 seconds. Devansh Sharma, exonerated means you are free of all charge. So somebody is basically certifying that you did not do anything wrong after an investigation. So exonerated means you are being told, or you have been given a clean sheet. That's the meaning. Okay? Okay, next question is here. Is that clear, Devansh? Alright, so you have a question here where there are two candidates. One is experienced, one is not that experienced, but he still has some experience, and after the process you selected the person with less experience. So now the older experienced guy is coming and debating, kind of arguing why this has happened, because he's got more experience. So how do you handle this? So you can basically say that A and D are close options. If you look at B, you can see, tell Rana that if he's interested, he could write to the HR director and you would act as per the director receipts. Again, this is not the way you are supposed to deal with the situation. You were in charge. You took the decision. So you should handle this, not pass it on to somebody else. Okay? Next, C, offer tea to Mr. Rana and say that you can understand why he's upset. Let him have a bit of a moan and help him get it out of his system. Again, that is just not doing the right thing. What is the right thing for the other person? You have to tell the other person why he's been rejected in a very nice way at the end of the day. But not telling him, just listening to him is not going to help, because he's always going to be unhappy. Okay? E, nothing to warn. Here's a complaint, right? It's not a misdemeanor. He can complain always. Nothing wrong. He's not abusing you. He's just coming and complaining. You can always deal with him as a mature person. So these two options are ruled out. 3 options are ruled out. Now between A and D, the thing is, A is more soft. A is more softer. This is a bit harsh. That is the only difference. So I would go with A over D, because A sounds a bit more pleasant. And you're saying that, look, I can share with you what was a parameter. So I'm proving to you that I'm not randomly picking anybody. Based on these parameters, I've selected somebody. If you want, you can check the parameters. Okay? A is being very professional and fair. So A is correct, D is, that's why wrong. Again, D is nothing wrong, but it's only the harsh language. It's like saying that, hey, just because you have age, you should not get it. That's not the right way. At the end of the day, the person has been loyal with you, to your company, has been there with you for some time. So it's always very delicate to deal with such kind of a situation. Alright, let's move on. Next question. Satyanshu, no, internal assessment parameters may or may not be confidential. Ideally, if I am a person selecting, I'm not saying how many marks each one of you got. Parameters I can discuss. I can broadly tell why a person failed in a particular qualification. I'm not saying I'll show the scorecard. Please understand that. Okay? Alright, let's move on. So here, Miss Dilipa has asked you to conduct a non-teaching staff induction training. You are to call for a tender from various agencies with specifications that include the content, duration, experience, budget and other relevant information. You then need to shortlist 5 agencies from the list of 20 and make a presentation within 2 days. Review the following responses. So there are 4 responses given. Select the best of the following responses in the descending order of their effectiveness. So maximum effectiveness, then next, then next and then next. So you have to look at the decreasing order. So which is the most effective? Rate all 20 agencies on a scale of 1 to 5 on the information available and select the top 5. Let's compare this. Select the lowest 5 bids based on the price quoted. Definitely this is not going to be your first way, because if I pick the cheapest one, what is the guarantee that I'm going to do a good job and a good quality? Seek selection criteria from Dilipa and HR director and shortlist the bidders accordingly. Could be possible because I'm asking my boss. Follow the advice of a person who has completed a similar task. Again, see, if you look at 3 and 4, I'm taking advice. Both cases I'm taking advice. Whose advice is it better? The HR director or my boss, or somebody who's done a task? We don't even know. See, he's done a similar task. But is it successful task? Did they execute it perfectly? Was it done correctly? We don't know. So just asking somebody who's done a task is not enough, because the task, how was it done? I have no information. So therefore, 4 should not be a part of my answer. So this is gone, this is gone, this is gone. So 3 options are straight away gone. Now of the remaining, I have to look at the order. Look at the order, guys. Rate all 20 agencies on a scale of 1 to 5 and select. So definitely 1 is greater than 2. 1 is greater than 2, and that is happening in both. That is happening in both. Now look at 2 and 3. Look at 2 and 3. If you look at 2 and 3, definitely 3 is greater than 2, because I am taking the opinion of my boss and my HR head versus just picking last 5. Last 5 is my, the worst case scenario for me. I should not do that at least. So had it been possible, I would have gone with only 2 options, which is 1 and 3. But here we have 3 of the statements. So then I will push the second statement to the last. So that is there only in your option E, not in D. So somebody was asking, how do we select the order options. So remember here, I'm not comparing all three. If you notice, I'm comparing 1 and 2, I'm comparing 2 and 3, and then deciding what is the order. So if you ask me, to write like a parajumble in your CAT exam, I might end up getting it wrong. But here, because the options are available, I'm going to compare which two statements should come, which one should come first, which one should come second. Based on that, I can eliminate the options. That is the advantage here, which is not there in a typical parajumble kind of a question, which is there in CAT. That is the reason why parajumbles end up being difficult in CAT, because there are no options there. You just have to type. And even one order goes wrong, the entire answer is wrong. Here, because of the options, you can compare and eliminate the options. Okay? Divyam, we don't know. That the whole point is we don't know whether the person created mistakes or not. Okay? Why 3 greater than 1? 3 is not greater than, I'm not saying 3 is greater than 1. I'm just saying 3 is greater than 2. 3 is greater than 2. So that's why I eliminated D. I'm showing you a process how I'm coming to an answer without proving that 3 is greater than 1. Okay? I'm just comparing 3 and 2. 1 should be greater than 3. Why 1 should be greater than 3? See, this is my experience. This is my experience. This is my boss plus director HR. Combined experience. Who will be doing a better job? I, who is not at their level, I am using my experience, nothing wrong. Whereas their advice, with their experience combined, where do you think the final output will be better? Okay? Is that clear? Yashasvi? Why is 3 better than 1? Am I able to explain now? Let's move on. Next question. Okay, so what should you do? First thing is shortlist apt candidates. So very clearly between 1 and 2, you know that 2 should be greater than 1. Do you agree? Because you're talking about shortlisting after an advertisement, and 2 is talking about making the advertisement. So first the advertisement comes, then only the shortlisting comes. So straight away you can say 2 is greater than 1. So 2 is greater than 1, so A is ruled out. 2 is not there at all, so C is ruled out. 1 is not there at all, E is ruled out. This is ulta. Straight away I got my answer as B. So I didn't have to prove anything. I just have to see 2 and 1 should be there because they are both linked and related, and 2 should come before 1. Straight away I eliminated 4 options, I got my answer. I don't have to worry about 4 should be there, not be there. I don't care. So this is how you need to understand that by looking at connections like this, you will get your answer. Prakshi, how can 2 be the most effective? Without designing an ad that attracts candidates, how can you do 1? See, first of all, look at the options. 3, I'm telling you the process of thinking. In an exam, you will not try to go for hence proved. What you need to do is logic. Firstly, 3 statements have to be there, which means only 1 statement is rejected. Now 1 and 2 are both connected to each other, so I cannot reject either of them. Both 1 and 2 should be present. So any option which without 1 and 2 is rejected, and I can by logic say that 2 should come before 1. So I should have an option which is 2 ahead of 1 and both are present. There is only one option like that, which is option B. Is the thought process clear? Right? Without reading 4. It doesn't matter. See, the question is already formed. Look at the logic which I am explaining to you. Look at the logic which I'm explaining to you. 1 and 2 are linked. One is drafting an ad, second is selection of people. If you're saying 1 is there, 2 has to be there. If you're saying 2 is there, 1 has to be there. They are linked. So you cannot reject either of them. So first you will say the answer should have both 1 and 2, because look at the options. All options have only 3 statements, which means out of 4 statements only 1 is being deleted. Only 1 is being deleted. Now if 1 is being deleted, it cannot be statement number 1 or statement number 2. That is the thought with which you are going forward. Don't debate whether 4 is better, 3 is better, 1 is better, 2 is better individually. Look at the process of eliminating your options. This is what you need to do in your XAT exam. There's no point in trying to prove why 4 is better or 4 is not better. The point is, as far as the examiner is concerned, if he says it is option 2, it has to be 2. Now how do you derive that answer? The answer can be derived by the logical flow of thinking which I just explained. But now, having said that, let's go and see why the other options are not good enough. Look at 4. Seek expert advice on drafting an attractive advertisement. This cannot be done. Why? Because you are the person who's been assigned with the task, and you are what? What is your job? Look at this. Where was that? Yeah, this was one, right? You are HR manager in the HR department. You are a manager. You are not somebody who is very at a at a lower level. You organize and support recruitment and training. This is your purpose, right? Provide secretarial support for disciplinary investigation and keep personal records of staff. You report to Ms. Dipalika, one of the 2 senior HR managers who report to the HR director. So now, if you yourself are going for an expert advice outside, so basically you're saying that you don't have the wherewithal with you to do this. So you should only go to an expert advice provided you know you can't do the job correctly. Okay, so if you are in a position to do the job, you should execute the job yourself. You will go for outside help only if you don't have the wherewithal to do something. Either you are lacking time or the experience. Either one of the 2 reasons, only then you will go for others' help and take their advice. Okay? Yes, that's correct, Abhishek. This is DM, not quants. Right. Okay, last question in this set. We have one more set after this. Many of you think decision making is more about analyzing each statement. This is not RC. Remember, in RC you have to know which statement is correct and why. Here, in this kind of questions at least, linking is the most important part. Right? So it's like parajumbles. Similar logic can be used here also. Okay, let's take a look at what is the correct answer. Here, it's a perfect example of when you are delegating work to somebody else. I told you, when will you go for outside help? When you can't do things on your own in the given normal timeline. So look at it. You have no time, you have no bandwidth, but there is a task that needs to be completed. So there are 2 criteria. As much as possible, that task must be completed. That's the first criteria. Second, if you can do it, it's good. First primary is your task should be completed. So if you look at the options, all options have 4 statements. So you're just arranging these 4. You're not going to leave anything. So all 4 are important, but in what order? If you look at 1 cannot be the starting point because you're basically telling that, look, I can't do anything. So 1 cannot be the most important part or the most effective part, because what is the top priority? Your top priority is the training should happen, right? That's your top priority. So 1 is not getting that done to you. Then if you look at it, 3, once again, it's not, you're basically saying that wait and see what will happen. Not happening. You are not getting the task done. So 3 is not correct. And again 4, yes, yeah, in fact, sorry, my bad. I was talking about 4, not 3. 4 is basically you're saying that your HR manager would conduct initial session. So basically you're asking them to wait for 3 months. So you don't know. 3 months is a long time, and the whole purpose is these people, 8 people, they don't want the 8 people to leave. So 4 is gone. Now among 3 and 2, 2 can immediately start. Now if you compare 2 and 3, both can start immediately, right? Wait a minute, just a minute. I think I misread the statements. Yeah, 3 is again, if this is the problem with 3. If some inductors drop out in the first month, at least some teaching assistant can be accommodated. And then basically that is the reason why 3 is also gone, because 3 is also saying that, look, wait and see what happens. So your 1 is gone, your 2 is gone, 3 is gone, and 4 is gone. So you have to start with 2. So you don't have time. The best way to do this is give the task to an outside agency, because this is the time where you say, look, I don't have the bandwidth to do this. It's not that I'm escaping, right? I'm trying my best, but yes, it is beyond my capability in this case. I accept it because I can't be in multiple places at the same time. Hence, give it to somebody else, which is a logical step. So you can start with 2. So these 2 are ruled out. Okay, so 2 things are ruled out. Now all of them are starting with 2. That's great. Now what is the next step? Next step cannot be 1. Inform him that once the schedules are drawn up, it is not possible to make any changes as the reputation of trust is at stake. So basically 1 is outright rejecting. Straight away rejecting is not the right way. So it cannot be followed by 1. So this is gone. Okay. Now 3 options are gone. You're left with only D and E. So basically so both of them have 3 and 1, 3 and 1. So compare 3 and 4. They are opposites here, right? 3 and 4. So look at which is better between 3 and 4. If you look at 3, tell him that if some inductees drop out in the first month, at least some teaching assistant can be accommodated. So you're being nice. Whereas 4, tell him that since no space is available in the induction training for 3 months, you as HR manager would conduct induction sessions for him after office hours. So here, in fact, 4, you can say it's a better way of dealing with it, because you are going beyond your scope of responsibility. You are going beyond what you're allowed to do. That's nothing wrong, because you're doing it after hours. So you're going that extra mile. You're putting your own effort. So this is better. 4 should be greater than 3. So this is gone and this is correct. Is that clear? So that is the reason why E is not correct, because you are getting the job done by 4, but you are putting extra effort from your side. Whereas 2, so in fact if you compare 2 and 4, both of them are getting the job done. 2 and 4, both of them are getting the job done. The problem is 4, you are asking them also to stay back, you are also staying back. Whereas 2, you don't have to put in that extra effort, especially the 8 candidates will not be asked to stay back. So you don't want them to leave, so they should feel normal. It's not that you are asking them to stay beyond office hours and then take the training, which is not good for them, because you are worried they will leave. If you make them work so hard, they will anyway leave. And it's not that you're making them work hard within the training hour, within the office hours. You're making them work beyond office hours also. Not the best ideal scenario. Okay? Right. Sankirtana, thanks a lot for those kind words. Yeah, Samhita, that's a good option. Samhita says, look at 1. 1 is the least possible. So check the option with the least possible at the last, which is a good way. So then you can say, this is, so if you go by that logic, you can eliminate these 3 and 1 should be at the end. So this is gone. So this will be correct. So you're not even comparing 3 and 4, because we know 1 is the worst case scenario. So 1 will be at the end. So whichever is 1. So again, as I said, multiple ways of thinking and eliminating options. It's all about option elimination in this kind of a question. Don't try to form the correct logic without looking at the options. It's like parajumbles, you'll go wrong. Remember the CAT parajumbles. Without options, if you try to do, the success rate will be bad. But use the connections and try to eliminate. That is the best way. Okay? Right, let's move on. Last set, guys. Last set. Quickly. Okay, here is the first question. So what my purpose is not to teach you what is the correct answer. I am also trying to explain to you why options are rejected. That is the important learning here. Please don't focus that, okay, I know the answer to this from my 2020 set. If that is the case, I am not wasting my time and your time giving the same set again. The purpose is why other options are rejected. That is very important for you to know. That is the learning process, right? Sudipto, don't worry, such caselets will not be coming. At least if it comes, maximum 1 will come. At least last 3 years we have done this analysis, no such caselets have come. So you are worrying unnecessarily. Please stop worrying about it. Even if it comes, 1 set will come. There will be 6 sets like this. You can get your cutoff from these 6. Okay, so what is the answer? So the correct answer is A. Even though e-commerce offers a great range of choice, villagers prefer buying readily available products from the small shop. See, if villagers prefer to buy my quality products, I don't have to worry about it. That is straightforward the answer. Okay, so this is one example where you're getting the answer straightforward. You don't have to eliminate anything. Right? So that's your answer. Let's look at the next question, which is the first one is very simple. Next question, let's see what the correct answer is. Why not C? Okay, let me see. Why not C? To cover insurance cost, e-commerce has begun charging a delivery fee from last year. Okay, what if the price is still lower? Right? What if or they are charging delivery fee? Even with delivery fee, if it is the same price as I am giving, that will not affect me. So, or rather, that should not affect the customer. He will still go to the e-commerce. Yes or no? So, the delivery fee, we don't know whether it's increasing the overall cost or not. So, please keep that in mind. That information is not complete. Anyway, moving on, try this. Once again, not very difficult. You can straight away eliminate B and D because they are extreme cases. One says take only high end, one says take only low end. Extreme cases, gone. Right? At least in this context, because you want to sell all types of products, you want more products with you. So you can't say I will keep only high end or I will keep only low end. You want both. So that's the reason why B and D are gone. What about A? You should get suppliers to courier its requirement to a shop whenever needed. The supplies require that the shop orders a minimum quantity every month. This is a problem. If I commit to a minimum quantity every month and the sale does not happen, I have to honor my commitment. So I'm going to spend my money unnecessarily. So A looks reasonable, but again, it's going to hurt my pocket. So that is the reason why I will reject A. Then E, the small shop should acquire extra space. The moment you're talking about setting up another extra space as a go down there, it's still not going to, the problem, what is the problem here? The problem is, it is averse to accumulating unsold products. It's not about storing the products. It is not saying that, look, I don't know where to store. The problem is, I may have storage space. The problem is I'm unnecessarily dumping them and keeping them. So my thought should be not about storing. My thought should be not taking things at all if it is not required. So this will not help me do that. Therefore, C is your correct answer. Right? Next, I think that's the end of the session right now, guys. So I hope you guys understood especially how to eliminate options, how to make sure that you select the correct option by looking at the connections, and all these things. So I hope this session has been really useful to you. So this finishes our last lap in decision making. We have other decision making sessions coming up, guys. So please make sure that you are all following us on these channels that I have. These are the upcoming sessions. We have Wednesday, 28th Wednesday, that is we have 10 days to XAT. Then I have Mr. Naveen's session on numbers and geometry crusher. Then we have 30th and 31st Saturday, also 7 p.m. So I know we are, giving you a session on New Year Eve. You can attend the session on 31st December and then go party, right? Because XAT comes first. Don't worry, you can have a party. It's only a 7 to 8 session. You can have the entire evening party after that. Thank you, guys. See you soon in my next session. All the very best in your preparation.